Hallo, freunde und willkommen. My name is Nate, and I want to thank you for joining me today. In today's video, I'm going to be reacting to a video by Haley Alexis, who is an American who has been living in Germany for a while. Now, in this video, she goes over some things that Germans just don't do, but as her title suggests, but she used to. So I'm kind of curious as to what that entails, what Germans don't do that probably many Americans do. So without further delay, let's just hop into the video.
I see rich people doing it, poor people doing it, and I'm just like, why? There's no need. You have plates. Why not use them? Hi everyone, what is up? My name is Haley. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Did not know? Now you do. Hey you guys, what's up? So in today's video, y'all, if the title is different than what I say, it's because I think it is a piece of crap. Anywho, I'm going to be talking about some things that I no longer, or that I used to do, that I maybe sometimes no longer do. Some of them I still do, but they're not common here in Deutschland. With that being said, we can now get into the rest of the video, and you can let me know in the comment section if you agree with any of these things. Also, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to follow me on Instagram, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. So the first point, you guys, is going to just be me going on a rant, and it is eating pumpkin flavored stuff that isn't really pumpkin flavored. I feel like this can be for a lot of different fruits and vegetables in the United States, because I feel like we don't have any real fruits or vegetables or things that taste like fruits and vegetables. But basically during fall, and that is right now, pumpkin season is very popular for the basic of the United States, which could be me. But we have pumpkin pies, we have pumpkin flavored cookies, we have pumpkin spice lattes. Pumpkin spice is very popular. I've talked about this in a few other videos. And so for me, I only knew pumpkin for these things. What I'm associating with pumpkin is usually something very sweet. And so when I came to
Pumpkin
Germany,
pie.
I tried a pumpkin soup for the first time. I don't know what I was expecting, but I was not expecting what I tasted, because it tasted real. It tasted similar to what I had in the United States, but there was just like something minorly different. So then when I went back to the United States with my newfound love of salty pumpkin goodness from Germany, I went to buy a pumpkin soup at Walmart, Publix, wherever I go shopping. I went home, tried it, and it still had that very American pumpkin-y flavor to it. So then I looked on the back of the can, ingredients of it, and it was basically pumpkin flavor, and also sugar was added. And I'm just like, haha, that's why it's technically not real pumpkin. I mean, there were probably bits and pieces of real pumpkin in there, but they added something to enhance the pumpkin flavor that we know in the United States, and they also added sugar. I could probably go into more detail about this point regarding so many other fruits and vegetables. Maybe it has something to do with the soil, with the water, but I do think it has a lot to do with our preferences in the United States and us liking more fake flavored foods, very intense flavored foods, very sweet flavored foods. And that's why when a lot of people come to Germany from the United States for the first time and they try food, they call it bland. The next point is going to be,
Has nothing to do with the water or the soil. It comes down to the simple fact that here in America, we put fake flavors in everything and then call it original flavor or natural flavors, and then you read the back and it's flavored stuff. It's not actual fruit in it. And the pumpkin spice craze that's here in the US, I have no idea why. I'm not a pumpkin spice fan, but I did buy a bottle of mead that was pumpkin mead with spices, and it was delicious, but it wasn't the fake pumpkin spiced flavors that you come to know with the lattes and the coffees and everything else. I think a lot of the food here just has the additives and the flavoring, and it's not real, because if it was real, people wouldn't like it so much.
Black Friday madness. They have Black Friday in Germany, but the big difference is the madness point. I worked in retail many years of my life. When I was younger, I worked at Victoria's Secret, and I also worked at Michael Kors. I loved both of these jobs, one more so than the other, but I worked Black Friday for both of these retail stores, Michael Kors was only one Black Friday, and Victoria's Secret was multiple Black Fridays. Victoria's Secret was probably the most regarding mass of people let in at once. So that was something I never saw before in my life because I never was a Black Friday person. I still am to this day not really a Black Friday person. Since I've been living in Germany, it's been like multiplied even more that I'm not that much of a Black Friday person to go out and camp out overnight. But the amount of people, the hordes of people that would come storming into Victoria's Secret at 12 o'clock at midnight to buy panties for like $1 cheaper was mind-boggling to me. And when you're standing behind the cashier and you're just like, what's going on? Michael Kors was probably the craziest Black Friday experience for me because I think on Thanksgiving, that same evening, I ate with my family until 8 p.m. I had to get ready for work and went to go to Michael Kors, I think at 9 p.m., let's say, and we opened at midnight, but we had to make sure that everything was prepared. All of our stuff was charged, all of our outfits were good. And so I got there at around like 8:45, let's say, and there were already people camping outside, and we didn't open until midnight. And the thing is, some of those people were already there from earlier in the day. So I don't even know if they celebrated Thanksgiving or not. They just came to sit in front of Michael Kors waiting for the Black Friday sale. But it was just really crazy for me to experience it firsthand, what Black Friday was like behind the scenes. Also, I worked from 9 p.m. that day until 9 a.m. the following morning. And so, yeah, just craziness, madness, not even just the people like going to get the deals, but also working through it and experiencing it is totally different than in the United States and Germany. Germany is very organized and people are generally calm, cool, reserved, and collected. And so there's not going to be an elbow or a jab here and there to get, let's say, a towel that's $5 cheaper than it usually is. The next point.
Black Fridays are stupid. Just plain and simple. Nobody needs anything to the point where they are camping out for hours and sometimes the previous day even to purchase something. Nobody needs anything that bad. It comes down to consumerism, materialism, keeping up with the Joneses. Oh my gosh, I need to camp out for 6 hours so I can buy 5 big screen TVs because neighbor has 4 big screen TVs and I need one more than he does. I've never been a Black Friday fan. I never will be. I've never participated in Black Friday. As a matter of fact, Black Friday, I don't even go out in town. I stay home because it's not just the stores that are stupid. It's the traffic. The traffic is stupid too. And people have quite literally died during Black Friday. And my life is more important than a PlayStation. Just going to throw that out there. Black Fridays it's greed. That's all it comes down to. And to think that Black Friday comes after the day where we are supposed to sit and reflect and be thankful for what we have. Oh, let's hurry up and scarf down our pumpkin pie so we can go maul people at Walmart for that last toy. It's so dumb. I can't wait to get somewhere where, and like she said, it probably happens in Germany. Black Friday deals, Cyber Monday deals. I'll participate in that sometimes if it's a very good deal and I happen to be looking for that specific thing, or it's a gift for somebody else. I can get it cheaper then, but I don't have to leave my house for that. I can do that sitting right here at my computer. Don't have to get in the car. Don't have to fight traffic. Don't have to wait in line. I don't like crowds to begin with, and then a mass hysteria over fighting over the last item on the shelf, and people have actually pulled guns. It's just no, I will not miss it. I don't miss it now because I don't participate, but no, thank you.
Is going to be something that I don't necessarily do, and it's very interesting because I don't drive in Germany, so it's just funny to see how the brain works. But I'm in the car a lot with Mike, and so I'm used to the German system of things, and I'm always calculating in my head when Mike is driving what I would do in the situation, because I also think if I should get my driver's license or not. And then I'm like, okay, this road I had to let those people go because they're on the right hand side and they have the right of way, and then this light you have to stop here. But when I go back to the United States and
Honestly, you should be doing that even while you're driving. Just saying.
haven't been driving for an extended period of time and I get thrown back into driving, it takes a little bit of like practice. I need to put oil on the wheels to get things moving properly. And there's one thing that I constantly like forget to do, and just turning right on red, because I'm so used to Germany and not being able to turn right on red. And something that
Here in Arizona, not only can you turn right on red, but apparently there's signs out there that say no right turn on red, and people still do it anyway. So
was very interesting for me was when Mike came to the United States and he was driving, and he was like doing things the proper way, and he was expecting everyone else around him to be doing the same thing, but that wasn't the case. I would get scared sometimes, not because of Mike, because I just knew how everyone else was on the road and how other people in the United States drove, especially in Florida, where it's just a mixture of so many different people coming from all over driving. So you never have one particular driving style. I feel like if you went to Wyoming, everyone probably drives the same, and not that many tourists and travelers are going to Wyoming.
okay, hold on a minute. Wyoming has its fair share of tourism and other people coming into the state thinking they can drive like they do from Florida or from Arizona or wherever else they are. Granted, there's not as many cars on the road, so it doesn't seem like it's a big problem, but wait until Sturgis, which is the bike rally that's not in Wyoming, but all the bikers come through Wyoming and actually come through my hometown, because my hometown sits right off of I-90. Then you have some craziness, but she's never been to Wyoming, probably, because she wouldn't have made that comment, I believe, because Wyoming's beautiful, one of the most beautiful states in the country, and yeah.
To drive, so everyone knows what to expect there, but in Florida you never know. And so he was expecting everyone else around him to be driving the same way that he was, or at least to care, and they don't. Driving in general is just a video of its own, but turning right on red is something that I wanted to point out, because it may even help you if you're coming to Germany from the United States or from a place that allows you to turn right on red. You will get in trouble. The next point is,
well, like she said, driving in general could be a video all on its own, and I have plans of trying to compare the driving habits here in Arizona to the driving habits where my wife is from in Germany. It'll have to be done in two parts, obviously, but I do have plans for that. But I like to drive. I enjoy in Germany going on little day trips, whether it's with my wife or by myself and my camera, just to get in the car and go. And so that point really doesn't resonate with me, because I will still drive in Germany, and you have to pay attention no matter where you are. So, whatever.
Probably the point that I could rant on the most, and it bothers me the most, and it really gives me a bad feeling in my heart. And I'm sorry if you're a person that does this, but if you are from the United States, this is a sign. Here is me coming to you to give you this bit of information. You do not need to eat with paper plates. It's unnecessary. I know that there are going to be some people that need to eat on paper plates, but if you're solely doing it for the purpose of laziness, I have very little respect for your decision, which, like I said, personal preference. You don't have to agree. Who am I to judge you? Why you would want something that is so unenvironmentally friendly, but also it's so ugly. If you're spending 20 bucks a month on paper plates and you have plates in your home, you are literally in a negative. It is wasted money. It makes no sense, especially because if you run the dishwasher 4 to 5 times a month, that is not going to equate to the $20 that you are investing in paper plates. So you would already be at a plus or a positive if you didn't buy paper plates. I see rich people doing it, poor people doing it, and I'm just like, why? There's no need. You have plates. Why not use them? The next one.
I agree. Paper plates are a waste. However, there are times where they make more sense than your kitchen cabinet dishes. And that is if you are going on a picnic, or you have a family gathering at a park or up in the mountains, then no, you're not going to pack up all your fine dishes to drive up the mountain to have a picnic. You are going to use paper plates. So for that reason, I can understand using paper plates. But like she said, paper plates in the home when you have dishes in a cabinet is a complete waste. And what's even more disgusting than that are the styrofoam plates. I remember using styrofoam plates, and your knife is cutting through the styrofoam, you're scratching the styrofoam, you're probably consuming pieces of styrofoam, and that is so much more unhealthy, environmentally friendly than paper plates. At least with paper plates, what we would do in the mountains if we went camping or something is we would burn the paper plates. We would, have our campfire, and you're done with the plates, you just chuck it in the fire, it burns up, turns to ash, goes back down to the earth. It's a little better than just throwing them into a garbage bag and throwing that into a dumpster. But if you're sitting at home, use proper dishes. It doesn't take much to just wash one plate or a couple plates and be done with it. You're saving money, you're saving the environment, and you're not having people like us badmouth you for using paper plates.
One is going to be something that is a little controversial, and I don't really talk about it that much on my channel because YouTube demonetizes people, y'all. Shooting a gun or being around guns. This is not something that is very common for the average German, but I don't know if this is very common for the average American, but for me growing up, it was something that most of the people that I knew and that I associated with knew about guns. I grew up around people that hunted. I grew up around people that went to shooting ranges. I grew up around people that were in the military. I grew up around people that collected guns. And so it was not something odd for me to go into a home and see guns just lying around everywhere. And a lot of times when I talk to people in Germany, some of the questions that they ask me is, have I ever shot a gun? Have I ever seen a gun? Have I ever touched a gun? And for me to talk about it, I can always see the just not excitement, but the bewilderment, I think would be the word. Is that a word? Interest in this topic. Since living in Germany, I've become very sensitive to guns. I used to be so used to guns. I used to know what a gun sounded like. I used to be fine with hearing these things, even shooting guns. I used to be so okay with shooting them. But then now, I don't know, it's not that I'm scared, but I just have this wall or this hesitation when I'm doing it. The next thing
Okay, I will try to be very brief and very careful with my next comments about guns. I'm from Wyoming. I grew up with guns. I understood how dangerous they were. I understood how to properly and safely operate them. I think I shot my first 22 when I was 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there. My grandfather and I would go rabbit hunting on his farm, and then we'd have rabbit stew that evening. My grandpa hunted. I have no problem with people hunting for food if they consume the animal. Guns for the sake of guns, I don't understand. I was in the military. I shot plenty of guns. I own 2 of my grandfather's hunting rifles. It's been years since I've used them. I enjoy shooting guns, but it's not something I have to do. It's not something that I will miss moving to Germany and not being able to just grab my gun, go out into the desert and take aim at some targets. I won't miss it. I think Americans' fascination with guns is scary. I don't believe we need as many as we do. I believe there should be more regulations. I don't believe people's guns should be taken away from them. But if you can buy a gun at a yard sale with no background check, no credential check, nothing, you can just go and buy a gun from your neighbor, that's dangerous and that's scary. So I will leave it at that and agree with her that I won't miss it. I won't need it when I move to Germany. It's fun when I have the opportunity, but I really seriously don't care.
you guys is going to be writing a check. Germans do not write checks. I don't think they've written checks a very long time. In the United States, it's still common practice. I do it for my mom. I still know how to write a check, and I actually had my own checkbook up until I moved to Germany. And then I think into my stay in Germany, I still had checks that I would write to the United States, which I don't know you guys why I was doing this. I remember when Mike came and I told him to write a check, and he was like, what do you mean? What am I supposed to do? I'm like, just fill out what it's supposed to do. And I honestly like just thought, hey, everyone knows how to do this, and he didn't do it. So it was like, oh my gosh. One thing I do have to say about checks though, I'll give you guys a story, which a lot of these things have stories. I worked in a bar. I was a bartender. There was a guy, oh my gosh. He would always pay for his food with checks. No one thought anything of it because it was just so common for him to pay with checks. One day he left me a check, I cashed it, and I got like a letter in the mail from my bank talking about fraud and fake checks and all this stuff. And I was like, what the hell? So come to find out, this man was writing fake checks and we were just like cashing them left and right. Our whole restaurant, our whole bar was just cashing these checks left and right. All of the girls at work, they were cashing these checks left and right, and they were fraudulent checks. So the last and final point, you guys, is going to be the drive-through.
Checks are still used. My mom still uses checks. She'll send the boys a check for birthdays or Christmas. But more so now, I think it's Zelle or wire transfer. I think checks are more dangerous than credit cards because you don't necessarily have to have the money right away to write a check, and it will come back to bite you tenfold if you bounce checks. So I don't remember the last time I actually had checks or used a check. I prefer to use either bank card, or actually we need to start getting back into the cash system where we use cash only for everything. But yeah, checks I haven't missed. I don't even know why they're still a thing, to be honest with you.
Through everything: ATMs, banks, restaurants, coffee, grocery stores sometimes. We even have drive-through vaccinations happening right now. In the United States, convenience is everything, and I feel like we have an attachment to our cars. And so the best way to make life convenient for all Americans is to make everything accessible via car. But I did want to come at it from a different angle, maybe show you guys a side of drive-thrus, or a reason why people use drive-thrus that you maybe didn't think about. A lot of people think that Americans just use them because they are lazy, which is sort of the case, but there are some reasons as to why they are used so often and so frequently in the United States. I think one of the main reasons is because convenience, and it might be laziness as well, but the sheer volume of the United States space is huge. Let's say you have to go to Walmart to pick up a prescription at 10 o'clock in the morning. That's probably one of the prime time hours for Walmart, and there is no parking. You have to park on the second parking lot. Now that trek from the back of that Walmart parking lot is probably a good 15 minutes to get into the store, and then takes you 15 minutes.
A 15-minute walk from the parking lot to the door? I don't think I've ever been anywhere where the parking at the farthest spot takes you 15 minutes to get to the door, unless it's a parking lot that doesn't belong to that store and that's the only parking you can find. I don't know, it seems like a long walk for a parking lot.
Minutes to walk back to your car. That is 30 minutes wasted. Not wasted because you had to get your prescription anyways, but if you have a drive-through and something's able to be done in 5 minutes, I would much rather choose the 5 minutes versus the 30 minutes. But if it is a crunch, and a lot of people in the United States are sometimes on a time crunch, so
they're only on a time crunch because nobody knows how to slow down in the United States, and employers don't give their employees enough time to do anything during the day. And then by the time they get off work, they have even less time to get things done. So time crunch is I think it can come down to many times being a personal choice. Think about that one.
Just have 30 minutes to waste to walk back and forth to the parking lot. And even the parking lots that I've been to here in Germany, it's probably a 2-minute walk max from where you parked at. And also they are there for people that, let's say, have disabilities. A lot of people that have disabilities, they drive and they use drive-thrus because a lot of places in the United States are not barrier free. So whether it be someone that needs a cane to walk, someone that has a wheelchair, someone that I have no idea what it may be, but a lot of times certain people, they need to get into certain buildings, and if those buildings are not easily accessible for them, they have no access next to them. So they need a drive-through. And then another reason, many years ago, one of the banks that I had an account with, it got robbed. And one of the measures that the bank took after the robbery happened was they closed down, I think, for 3 to 4 months their bank, and they only allowed people going through the drive-through. You could go inside and talk to like a financial advisor if you wanted to, if you made an appointment, but letting everyone in like freely was not allowed. So some places do have this as a preventative measure for X, Y, or Z happening. Not necessarily for convenience, but so people are protected. And so yes, I do think that drive-throughs are sometimes enabling people in the United States to be lazy, but I also think that they do have some benefits. They're not necessarily just a bad thing. But I do have to say that since living in Germany, I don't necessarily go through a drive-through unless I have to, unless I'm usually with my little brother and I don't want to get out of the car. Usually if I'm with other people and they don't want to get out of the car, I'm probably not going to make them sit in the car while I go inside to get something. But if I'm by myself, I'll usually walk places or I'll ride my bike places. Even at Starbucks, you guys, I ride my bike to Starbucks usually from my mom's house, and then they'll always be like, I can't believe you rode your bike here. Why don't you just drive? We see you in the car sometimes. And I'm just like, is it really that serious? Those were all the points, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. I hope you have a wonderful day, evening. It's most likely evening where you're at. It's probably already dark too, because we're getting into winter time. I love y'all, and bye.
Okay, so continuing with the last point of the drive-throughs, I feel like drive-throughs can be a benefit. However, many times it's fast food places, drive-throughs that, Americans eat on the run. They eat in the car. They take it back to their desk at work. They eat at their desk. They don't take the time to have a sit-down proper meal at lunch. And in many cases, they don't have time to, because I get a 30-minute paid lunch. That's it. In 30 minutes, I'm not going to make it to a restaurant, sit down, order food, eat, and get back to work. So the drive-throughs, actually, I take my lunch 99% of the time anyway, so I don't have to worry about it. But drive-throughs can be a necessary thing at times, but I don't remember ever going through a drive-through in Germany, because honestly, where my wife is from, even in Kaiserslautern, maybe I just was never around fast food places. I know they aren't as big over there as they are over here, but there was no reason to go through a drive-through. Even a bank in Landstuhl, right over the hill from where my wife's from, we would park and then just walk up to the ATM that was right there. I don't even think that bank had a drive-through ATM. So I don't know. I think it is convenience. It's one of those that you get used to, and then when it's not there, you're thinking, man, what am I going to do? But I don't think it takes long to just forget that they even exist. So very interesting points, some that I probably wouldn't have thought about. So, and maybe some of these points I can elaborate on later. I don't want to get too political with the channel, even though I have somewhat already, especially with the gun thing. I have very strong feelings about that probably will put me on the outside of many Americans, which frankly I just don't care anyway. I'm leaving, so it doesn't matter. Driving and the drive-throughs and the paper plates, those are things that I really wouldn't have thought of. Very interesting. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for sticking in there with me. Please don't forget to do all the YouTubey things, hit the bell, subscribe, like the video. It really does help out the channel. I want to thank everybody who's come on board in the last week. I really do appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.